Austin and welcome to the I Ching Cafe and our weekly episode this week for the 28th of June 2021. Here we are right at the tail end of June. So I do hope that you've been working with the monthly overview for June. If you haven't, perhaps still go along and get some insight on how to wring the last little bit of value out of the month from the insight of the I Ching. Last week we had hexagram 57, the gentle, and hexagram 18, work on what has been spoiled, challenging us to seize the moment to change and renovate the situation we're in. Something is needing order, chaos needs to be put into shape, the garden needs to be weeded and sorted and tidied up. And so how did the efforts of the week pan out for you? What was the thing that you were called to transform the chaos into the order? Right. Last week we had 57, right? The week before we had hexagram 56. And this week, our first hexagram for this week is hexagram 58, joy. So we had 56, 57, and this week 58, 3 weeks in a row. I have no idea what it means, but it's quite cool. All right, so let's have a look at this week. This week with hexagram 58, joy, our focus and attention for this week is all about communicating, expressing joy, sharing with others, connecting with others, networking, expressing, teaching, learning. It's a week where we will naturally talk a lot, share a lot, have a lot more coffees, a lot more interactions with others, and we're creating opportunities to share and express. So this is a time, personally and for your business, where learning and engagement and sharing with each other is very powerful. It's wonderful to build a team, to leverage the inherent knowledge that your family has, that your team has, and really get everyone working together as a theme to focus on what's really important. Joy is such a beautiful hexagram. It's the doubling of lake. It's the excited mists rising off the lake. And it's an opportunity for us to really create energy and a really powerful flow with others. As long as we are open and we lean into the joy, we lean into sharing and communicating and really hearing what those around us have to say. Now, our changing line for this week is only in the 5th position, one changing line. And this changing line alludes to the fact that this week the door to an opportunity opens, or the awareness of an opportunity that was already there opens. And when we look through the door, when we look at this thing, it's exciting, but it also feels dangerous. So it refers to something where we are outside our comfort zone. We're being asked to lean into something and say yes to an opportunity that is quite challenging, but we should do it. Now, as much as I say the words should and you must, you have to take that information and you have to use your critical faculties and apply it to your own life. The I Ching is saying, for all of us this week, the door opens a crack and we see what's possible. We see the thing on the other side of the door, and it might be a little bit terrifying and the adrenaline might pump up and we might feel all excited about it, and it's outside our comfort zone. And as much as the I Ching says it's well aspected to say yes to this, you have to make choices in your own life about what's in front of you and use the critical faculties. Please don't ever make decisions because the I Ching told you to. You're a human being with a beautiful mind, because you need to evaluate your own opportunities and use your own critical faculties to work out what's important for you and your life, your business at this time. Be that as it may, keep your eyes open for that door. The crack is opened. See what's on the other side. And as you go through the week, if something comes to your awareness, and remember it might be a few days on either side of the week, it's not necessarily from Monday to Sunday. If you see that thing and that opportunity that you really want to seize, that's quite big, that's quite overwhelming, use your critical faculties. But the I Ching is saying if that is real for you this week, there's a huge positive energy and blessings that can come if you lean into it. You'll have the skills and abilities to do it, but what you have to do is you have to say yes if you want to go through the door. If you don't want to go through the door, that is your choice. Another aspect to this changing line to bear in mind is that as you go along, you are now enjoying, you're seizing opportunities. Keep your mind open to the negative and inferior elements around you. Okay, so don't let your own energy be dropped into the negative energy of people around you. So if you find that you get a little bit of negativity this week, be conscious and aware of the people around you who are not thinking at the level that you're thinking, okay? Who are thinking at a lower level, perhaps are stuck in fear and negativity and the news and everything's so terrible. Focus your energy on pulling out of that. Go through the door, see the door as an opportunity, or leave that behind, and recognize that in part of this process might be that you have your own inner voice, your own negativity that you have to get through. In order to go through the door and seize the opportunity, you've got in your own mind work through all the reasons why you think you can't or shouldn't take the opportunity or seize the moment. So we all have our inner demons to work with. Be attentive to the thought processes you're going through this week, what comes to you, what your reactions are to it, and ask yourself the question, is this an opportunity that the I Ching is talking about where it seems like it's outside my comfort zone, but actually it's something that I really need to do? Our outcome hexagram for the week is hexagram 54, Marrying Maiden. Marrying Maiden is a very interesting hexagram. I've also talked about this a lot in this channel as it's come up over the last couple of years. And this is the symbolic story of a young lady being drawn by her family into marriage with a prince, heaven forbid. And she now is in the situation where she's completely removed from the place that she had power, her family, her unit, the things that she knows, into the situation where maybe she's the fourth or fifth wife down, and she's in this hierarchy and she no longer has the power that she had. But in the ancient story of this hexagram, she actually becomes the heir to the king that revolutionizes and brings beauty and goodness back into the nation. So what seems like a second position or an inferior position in a change process becomes a process of getting you into position to fulfill your purpose. So the trick with this hexagram and the way that we develop through working with Marrying Maiden is to accept where we find ourselves in a secondary position. It's like where you are used to being a CEO of a company and now you're a manager. And you know that you've been a CEO of a company before, but now you've been put into a position where maybe you've been retrenched and you land up in a manager position of another company, and you've got to accept the fact that that's no longer the role I'm doing. This is the role I'm doing, and I have to give everything to this role. I can't walk around and, bash my chest and talk about the days when I was a CEO to everyone, because that is not going to make friends. What I have to do is I have to behave well, and I have to accept this is my position now. I'm this manager now. I'm not a CEO. I'm going to make this the best possible outcome. I'm going to do my best and draw all the things that I've learned as a CEO into this role as a manager and apply it here and see where things go. So there's a lot of trust that this set of hexagrams is calling upon us this week. We are being drawn into cycles that are far beyond what we can understand. My experience of working with Marrying Maiden is that it's not always obvious what is happening. It's not like it's easy to see the events in black and white as, oh, that's this hexagram, or that's, what's happening. These are big cycles of change that we're being drawn into. And so this week we are being positioned, repositioned, and certainly by going through that door, by taking the action on the changing line and seizing the opportunity, we are definitely setting off a new cycle of events that have far-reaching consequences. So this week, trust the process. Trust that you're being led to where you need to be, okay? Sometimes we can get quite anxious that if we aren't doing it, it's not going to get done. Trust the process around you. Trust your life. And look for that opportunity where the door opens, where you become aware of the opportunity that you could seize, perhaps this week, or perhaps an awareness of what you could do with it in time to come, and seize the moment. Seize that gap, that crack in the door that's calling to you on the other side. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. It'd be awesome to have you come and join us on the regular on this channel. And of course, if you're on the socials, we are there too. Come and join the conversation. And I look forward to seeing you soon at the monthly episode, because we are heading for July. Crazy stuff. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.